Hi, everybody. My name is Latanya Williams, and I was assigned Chapter 16. So, if you will open your presentation with me, and we can review the materials from Chapter 16 together. So, the title of the chapter is Organizational Change and Change Management. And the chapter is about how organizations need to manage potential change and create protocols to maintain viability in a dynamic, transformational global marketplace. So, as we all know, the global marketplace is changing quickly, and companies are having to come up with solutions to accommodate the different needs of customers and kind of the way we do business. The chapter discusses many reasons why change is often needed. It also encourages adoption. With the systematic approach, or also, another approach is also implementing change continually. The change can involve structure, technology, and it can involve duties. The chapter also discusses change techniques, resistance, ways to manage successful organizational change and development, and the need for organizational learning. So the first key points that we can talk about are forces for change. The book talks about how people, technology, information processing, and communication, and also competition are some of the main reasons why change is essential. As far as people are concerned, changes in demographics force companies to make changes, based on the needs of each individual group. Technology causes changes because advancements in technology can improve the way companies do business. It can help them to become more responsive to different challenges, or it can make their processes faster or more efficient. As marketing technologies develop, companies may have a need for new change management policies or procedures or even strategies. So as far as information processing, as far as competition is concerned, new trade agreements, developing global markets, and the internet have definitely changed the way we compete with one another in the business world. Marketing technologies allow us to access global markets, to reach new customers, but we do have to consider things like trade policies, practices, regulations, and standards. So that's something that might also be embedded into a change management plan. There's also two ways that you can kind of look at organizational change. You can look at it from a static view or a dynamic perspective. The Lewin's process model talks about it from a more systematic approach. It mentions freezing and unfreezing. And the continuous change process model talks about change as a more complex, continual process. Where a change agent may recognize a problem, recommend solutions, measure and analyze challenges or the solutions, implement the solution, and oversee the transition. In the context of marketing, continuous change process is required. Marketing platforms change, and companies may recognize many needs and challenges in regards to these changes, and have to come up with solutions. The next topic is organizational development, and really organizational development means organizational change. The book says a system-wide application of behavioral science knowledge to the planned development and reinforcement of organizational strategies, structures, and processes for improving an organization's effectiveness. So that's the formal definition. For system-wide organization development, companies must consider things like task change, technological change, and comprehensive organizational change. When we look at it from the perspective of comprehensive organizational change, that may include things like structural change, or the development and launch of quality of life programs. With task and technological change, this may involve change of duties, change of task assignments, task redesigns, and change of how inputs are transformed into outputs. Technological change often involves strategy formulation, maybe a planning team, people who decide about the timing of the implementation, and people who manage and handle the different necessary adjustments. As far as people-oriented change techniques, they involve much training, team building, and survey feedback. And I really like this part because it talks about how you can involve staff in the process of change, and maybe a way to eliminate some of the resistance that often comes with change. So with training, you would teach staff new skills and give them the opportunity to have professional development. You would also develop the leaders and think of training from a broad, multifaceted view, and make sure that it is based on identified needs and in line with organizational goals. For team building, this is a continual process, and we want to make sure that teams are working towards a shared vision and priorities. As far as survey feedback, this is the part where teams can offer their feedback and communicate with leadership to identify and solve organizational problems. This may be coordinated by a change agent or a consultant, and it's widely used in the change management and development process. The next topic is resistance to change. And I thought this topic was really interesting because it is, very true that most often change is met with resistance, and, we often panic and say, this is my new idea is being resisted. But it's normal, and we can find ways to benefit from that resistance. We can use those concerns to analyze risk factors, to think about advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons. We can also determine whether those sources of resistance are at an organizational level or at an individual level. Now, as far as managing successful organizational change and development, leaders suggest 7 keys to managing change in organizations. And these 7 keys are considering global issues, taking a holistic view, starting small, and securing top management support. And also encouraging participation, fostering open communication, and rewarding contributors. Andrew Carnegie says, "The only irreplaceable capital an organization possesses is the knowledge and ability of its people. The productivity of that capital depends on how effectively people share their competence with those who can use it." So training programs can really give companies experiencing change a competitive advantage. They can improve employee skills, equip staff with the necessary knowledge to solve problems, and help to ease the pain of organizational change. One of the last topics is mentioning just how to create a learning organization that kind of embraces constant transformation and continually facilitates learning. And this is another way to kind of get staff involved in the change process. So you can have them do an after-action review just to identify successes and failures, and then to openly discuss failures, to use those failures to identify opportunities for training and learning.